The average person who celebrates a money milestone in public ends up losing part of their future wealth growth over the next year. Not because people get jealous. Not because of bad luck. Because of a system that quietly starts working against them. The moment people know you're doing well, things begin to change. Spending goes up. Expectations rise. Friends and family start asking for help. And most of those loans never come back. Some studies have linked visible wealth signals to an average financial drag of $11,000 to $18,000 in the year that follows. Researchers even have a name for part of this effect: the arrival fallacy. It's the feeling that once you've reached a goal, you've earned the right to relax, spend more, and enjoy the reward. The problem is that wealth grows through time, not celebration. This isn't bad luck. It's a mechanism. And before you think this video is about hiding money from enemies, it's not. What we're talking about is much older, much quieter, and much more dangerous than that. This video is not about paranoia. It's not about hiding from the government, lying to your family, or opening secret bank accounts. Those ideas miss the point completely. This video is about a single invisible mechanism that turns on the moment your financial progress becomes visible to other people. Once it starts, it slowly drains the power of compounding, often without you noticing. Think of wealth like a seed growing underground. The moment you dig it up to show someone, you interrupt the growth. You can plant it again, but it will never be as far ahead as it would have been if you had left it alone. I'm Nick, and this is Future Rich, the channel for people who are doing everything right and still falling behind. By the end of this video, you'll understand this visibility mechanism, how much it can cost over 30 years, and a simple 3-step framework to protect your compounding window. Let's start with what this mechanism really is. Section 1. The name for this mechanism is the visibility tax. Researchers describe it as the meeting point of two ideas. One is social comparison, where people judge themselves by looking at the people around them. The other is earned consumption, where people feel they deserve to spend more after reaching a goal. But in everyday life, the visibility tax is much simpler. The moment people around you know you have money, the social rules around you begin to change. Imagine walking into a room carrying a large bag of groceries. Everyone else in the room is hungry. Before they saw the bag, everything was normal. Nobody expected anything from you. Nobody was thinking about what you had. Then they see the bag. You are still the same person. The groceries are still yours. But the room is different now. Some people start hoping you'll share. Some begin wondering why you have more than they do. Others start creating stories in their heads about what you can afford. Nothing has been said out loud, but the relationship has already changed. Money works the same way. A 2022 Federal Reserve study found that households that experienced sudden visible growth in income or assets reported a 34% increase in financial requests from family members and social networks within the following 18 months. Most people hear that and think the danger is jealousy. It isn't. The real danger is something much quieter. It's called an anchor shift. The people around you slowly change their idea of what is normal for you. They stop seeing you as the person you were and start seeing you as the person they think your money has made you. Suddenly, spending more seems reasonable. Helping more seems expected. Saying no feels harder. The version of your life that once looked successful now looks ordinary. And that's the hidden cost of visibility. The tax is rarely taken from your bank account directly. It is taken from expectations. And expectations have a way of turning into expenses. Section 2. Let's make this real. Meet Marcus, a 31-year-old logistics manager who splits his time between Lagos and London. He earns £52,000 a year. Nothing special. No lottery win. No rich parents. Just 8 years of hard work, 2 side jobs, and a level of discipline most people never maintain. By March 2021, Marcus reaches a goal he has been chasing for nearly a decade. £100,000 in savings. He is proud of it, and honestly, he has earned the right to be. So he shares the milestone. Not in a flashy way. No luxury watches. No expensive cars. Just a Twitter thread about the journey and a WhatsApp message to a small group of people close to him. At first, nothing seems different. Then the requests begin. Within 6 weeks, 3 family members ask for financial help. Together, they need £19,000. Marcus wants to help, so he loans out £11,000. Not long after, a cousin introduces him to an investment group that promises strong returns. Marcus puts in another £6,000. But the bigger change happens inside his own mind. For years, he had lived like someone building wealth. Now, reaching the goal feels like permission to enjoy it. Restaurant spending doubles. Small upgrades become normal. He moves into a more expensive flat. None of the decisions seem reckless on their own. That is what makes the visibility tax so dangerous. It rarely arrives as one huge mistake. It arrives as 100 reasonable decisions. By December 2022, Marcus's net worth has fallen to £81,000. He did not lose his job. The market did not collapse. There was no financial disaster. Instead, a chain reaction began the moment his milestone became visible. Now look at the other path. If Marcus had left the money alone and allowed it to grow at 7% a year, his net worth would have reached roughly £114,300 by that same December. That difference is the real cost. The loss was not just the money that left his account. The loss was the compounding window that closed the moment the seed came out of the ground. Section 3. This is where the visibility tax stops being a theory and starts becoming a number. Let's use a simple example. Imagine you are 35 years old. Your money earns an average return of 7% each year. You have 30 years before retirement. Now imagine that visible wealth creates a small leak in your financial life. Nothing dramatic. A few extra dinners out. A few upgrades. A few loans to friends or family that never come back. A little more spending because people now expect a different version of you. Together, those changes cost you £500 each month. Most people hear that number and think it doesn't sound serious. But compounding sees things differently. Over 30 years, that £500 monthly bleed grows into roughly £566,000 in lost wealth. More than £500,000. Not because you made one terrible decision. Because small amounts of money stopped working for you year after year after year. Now let's look at a higher visibility situation. You post a major financial milestone online. Your family celebrates your success. People at work learn about a large raise. Expectations rise. Spending rises. Requests increase. For the first 18 months, the monthly bleed is closer to £1,200. Again, nothing looks dangerous in the moment. But over the same 30-year period, the loss compounding can grow to more than £1.3 million. Read that number again. More than £1.3 million. And even that does not tell the full story. It does not include money tied up in social loans that never earn a return. It does not include opportunities you passed on because your capital was already committed elsewhere. And it does not include the mental cost of the anchor shift, when higher spending starts to feel normal and lower spending starts to feel like sacrifice. That cost is hard to measure. But it is real. The important thing to understand is this. Compounding does not care why the money left. It only knows that it is gone. And every pound that leaves the system takes decades of future growth with it. Section 4. The visibility tax goes deeper than social pressure. Underneath the spending, the requests, and the lifestyle changes is something happening inside your mind. In 1966, researcher James Marcia described a concept called identity foreclosure. The idea is simple. A person locks into an identity before fully exploring other options. The financial version works like this. The moment you announce a money milestone, your brain starts building a new story about who you are. At the same time, everyone around you starts building that story too. You are no longer just Marcus, Sarah, or David. You become the person who has money. That may sound harmless, but identity is one of the most expensive things a person can maintain. Because once people expect you to be a certain person, there is pressure to keep acting like that person. Maybe before the milestone, taking the bus was normal. Now it feels uncomfortable because people saw your success post online. Maybe before, saying no to an expensive family dinner was easy. Now it feels harder because everyone assumes you can afford it. Maybe you plan to change your investment strategy. But months ago, you told everyone you were focused on property, and now changing direction feels like admitting you were wrong. Little by little, your options become smaller. And that is the hidden cost most people never see. The visibility did not just change how people look at you. It changed how you look at yourself. Wealth grows best when it has room to move. When every decision must match a public identity, that freedom starts to disappear. You stop making choices based on what works. You start making choices based on what fits the story. That is why the visibility tax is so powerful. It does not only take money. It takes optionality. The ability to change your mind. The ability to move quietly. The ability to make decisions without social pressure pulling on every choice. Think about the seed again. Once it comes out of the ground, it does not just stop growing. Now it faces wind, rain, heat, and storms it was never meant to face. Visibility creates the same problem for wealth. The moment it becomes exposed, new forces begin pushing against it from every direction. Section 5. If Marcus shows us the cost of visibility, Priya shows us the stakes. Priya is 34 years old and works as an NHS administrator in Birmingham. She earns £44,000 a year and has spent years building her savings. By 2023, she has put aside £90,000. Unlike Marcus, she never posts about it. She does not share screenshots. She does not announce milestones. She keeps her finances private. But privacy has a weakness. Other people can talk. At some point, her mother mentions Priya's success to a few relatives. Those relatives tell other relatives. The story grows as it travels. By the time Priya hears about it, 4 people in her extended family believe she has serious wealth. In their minds, her £90,000 has somehow become £200,000. She never confirmed that number. She never denied it either. And silence is often treated as proof. Then the worst possible thing happens. In 2023, Priya's father becomes ill. The family needs money for treatment, travel, and support. Normally, everyone would contribute. But now there is a problem. The family believes Priya is wealthy. Without saying it out loud, many of them assume she will take care of it. So they wait. And Priya pays. One bill becomes another. One emergency becomes the next. Before long, she has spent £22,000 helping her father. Only later do other people begin contributing. When she finally raises the issue, the response is simple. But you have savings. That is how the visibility tax becomes a trap. The story no longer belongs to her. The more she tries to correct it, the more she risks looking selfish. The money people imagine she has becomes more powerful than the money she actually has. By early 2024, Priya's savings have fallen to £61,000. Not because she wanted a different lifestyle. Not because the market crashed. Not because she made reckless choices. A number became a social fact she never agreed to publish. And once that fact took hold, it started making decisions for her. Priya is now sitting in the hole. The seed is above the ground. And it is raining. Section 6. There is another layer to the visibility tax that most people never think about. The world around you benefits when your financial progress becomes visible. Banks understand this very well. That is why you often see messages telling people to celebrate financial milestones. Reach your first £10,000. Reach your first £50,000. Reach your first £100,000. On the surface, it looks encouraging. But celebration often creates new buying behavior. Someone who feels successful is more likely to upgrade accounts, explore new investment products, or book a meeting with a wealth manager. The milestone becomes the start of a sales opportunity. The same thing happens online. Social media platforms are built around visibility. A post about saving money gets some attention. A post about reaching a major financial goal gets much more. People click. People comment. People share. And every minute of attention creates value for the platform. This is not a conspiracy. Nobody is sitting in a secret room planning against you. The incentives simply line up. Your visibility creates engagement. Engagement creates revenue. In that system, your financial story becomes a product. Your visibility becomes inventory. Over time, this creates something powerful. Many people start feeling uncomfortable with financial privacy. Keeping quiet feels strange. Not sharing feels unfriendly. Staying private can even feel like hiding something. So when a big financial win happens, there is a strong urge to announce it. To post it. To celebrate it. To let people know that the years of hard work finally paid off. But ask yourself a simple question. Where did that urge come from? Because for most of human history, people did not feel pressure to publish every personal achievement. That pressure was built slowly through decades of marketing, advertising, and social systems that reward visibility. The result is that financial silence often feels awkward, while financial exposure feels normal. But normal and profitable are not the same thing. The discomfort you feel about staying quiet may not be your own idea. It may be a feeling that was carefully encouraged over many years. And like every part of the visibility tax, that feeling comes with a price. Section 7. The good news is that the visibility tax can be reduced. Not with a dramatic announcement. Not with an argument. And not by trying to convince everyone that they were wrong. Priya learns this the hard way. After watching her savings fall from £90,000 to £61,000, she realizes that the real problem is not the rumors themselves. The problem is the flow of information. So instead of chasing every misunderstanding, she goes to the source. She has one calm conversation with her mother. Not an emotional conversation. A practical one. She shares a clear picture of her situation. She explains what she can and cannot do. She sets a boundary around what financial information should be shared with other people. And she makes one simple request. Keep her finances private. That is all. She does not pretend to be struggling. She does not tell people she lost money. She does not make a public statement to correct the rumors. She simply closes the aperture. The flow of information becomes smaller. And something interesting happens. Without news stories feeding the rumor, the assumptions begin to weaken. People stop talking about her finances as much. Expectations slowly return to normal. Family members begin taking more responsibility for their own contributions instead of assuming Priya will cover everything. There is no confrontation. There is no family drama. Just a gradual return to reality. By the middle of 2024, Priya has rebuilt her savings to £74,000. She is not back at her peak. Not yet. But she is moving in the right direction again. More important, the money is working for her instead of reacting to other people's expectations. That is the real lesson. The goal is not secrecy. The goal is sovereignty. The ability to make decisions about your money without carrying the weight of other people's assumptions. The ability to save, invest, spend, and plan based on your goals instead of someone else's story. The number in Priya's account is smaller than it once was. But for the first time in a long while, that number belongs to her again. And that gives compounding a chance to do what it does best. Grow quietly. Section 8. So what do you do with all of this? The answer is not to become secretive. The answer is to become deliberate. Start with one simple step this week. Audit your information radius. Take a piece of paper and write down the names of every person who knows a real number connected to your finances. Your savings balance. Your salary. Your investments. Any number that gives someone a clear picture of your financial life. That list is your visibility exposure. You are not cutting these people off. You are not hiding from them. You are simply becoming aware of where the aperture is open. Once you know that, you can make better decisions about what you confirm, what you correct, and what you choose not to discuss. Next, do something this month that most people never think about. Replace public celebration with private accounting. The need to celebrate progress is real. There is nothing wrong with feeling proud of what you have built. But not every victory needs an audience. Create a private ritual instead. Write a journal entry. Take yourself out for a quiet dinner. Move money into an account with a meaningful name. Mark the milestone in a way that rewards you without inviting outside expectations. You are not hiding the win. You are keeping the energy where it belongs. Finally, build a default deflection script. Because sooner or later someone will ask, how much do you make? How much do you have saved? How are your investments doing? When that moment comes, you need a simple answer ready. Something honest. Something warm. Something that ends the conversation. I'm still figuring it out. That's enough. Practice it until it feels natural. The discomfort of deflecting lasts a few seconds. The cost of oversharing can last for decades. Remember the seed. A seed does not need applause. It does not need attention. It does not need an audience. It needs soil. It needs time. It needs darkness. The financial milestone you are most excited to announce is often the one that needs protection the most. Say less. Wait longer. Let it grow.